A very good morning to all my dear students of class 10. This is the second class on the Footprints Without Feet by H.G. Wells from your book, from your supplementary English book by NCERT, Footprints Without Feet. In the previous class, I have started teaching you the text and gave an introduction where we have got to know that Griffin the scientist had somehow managed to know how to become invisible. So here he had become invisible in London, took food from a restaurant and managed to take some clothes from a shop. Now let's see what happens. Okay, we are in page number 28. Okay, we are in page number 28 and we will start from where we have ended yesterday. This time he decided to try the stock of a theatrical company in the hope of finding not only clothes but also something that would hide the empty space above his shoulders. Shivering with cold, he hurried to Drury Lane, the center of Theatre World. So in the previous one, we found that he took food from a restaurant and slept in the field, and next morning was found by the people who are working at the restaurant, and he managed to escape from there. He took off all the clothes in order to become invisible so that nobody can catch him. Now he is again without any clothes in the chilly winter of London. Now he decides to enter a theatrical company and he goes to Drury Lane, okay, which is the center of Theatre World. Now he wants to hide the place from his shoulders, which is empty, with something. Now let's see what Griffin does. He soon found a suitable shop. He made his way invisible upstairs, came out a little later wearing bandages round his forehead, dark glasses, false nose, big bushy side whiskers, and a large hat. To escape without being seen, he callously attacked the shopkeeper from behind, after which he robbed him of all the money he could find. So he took whiskers and all, a hat, and bandaged himself and all. He was not only satisfied by taking all these things, he also robbed the manager of the shop and took all the money. Eager to get away from crowded London, he took a train to the village of Iping, where he booked 2 rooms at the local inn. The arrival of a stranger at an inn in winter was in any case an unusual event. A stranger of such uncommon appearance set all tongues wagging. Mrs. Hall, the landlord's wife, made every effort to be friendly, but Griffin had no desire to talk and told her, "My reason for coming to Iping is a desire for solitude. I do not wish to be disturbed in my work. Besides, an accident has affected my face." Since he has bandaged himself thoroughly, he had to cook up some story and tell it to the owner of the inn so that nobody disturbs him. So he took one train to the countryside. He booked 1 room for 2-3 days and he stayed there. Mrs. Hall, the owner, was very much surprised that at this time of the year, when with the arrival of winter, no visitor generally comes to an inn. So Griffin, after reaching there, makes sure that he has come here in order to maintain solitude. He wants to be alone. He wants nobody to disturb him at all. And Mrs. Hall was surprised, and both at the look of Griffin and also at the arrival of a guest at that time of the year. Satisfied that her guest was an eccentric scientist, and in view of the fact that he had paid her in advance, Mrs. Hall was prepared to excuse his strange habits and irritable temper. But the stolen money did not last long, and presently Griffin had to admit that he had no more ready cash. He pretended, however, that he was expecting a check to arrive at any moment. Shortly afterwards, a curious episode occurred. Very early in the morning, a clergyman and his wife were awakened by noises in the study. Creeping downstairs, they heard the chink of money being taken from the clergyman's desk. Without making any noise, with a poker grasped firmly in his hand, the clergyman flung open the door. Surrender. So, whatever money he had stolen from the theatrical company is wasted, is spent already. Now, Griffin was pretending that a check is going to arrive. There is no money. He had to admit the fact that he is left with no money and a check is going to come. Now, Griffin started stealing money, and he took money from the drawer of a clergyman and his wife's room. They found a nose, a false nose, and the money is gone. Now, then, to his amazement, he realized that the room appeared to be empty. He and his wife looked under the desk and behind the curtains and even up the chimney, and there wasn't a sign of anybody. Yet the desk had been opened and the housekeeping money was missing. So the clergyman and his wife did not find anybody there because Griffin is obviously invisible. They found everywhere on the top of the chimney, but nobody was there. But the money for housekeeping from the drawer is missing. There is no money. Extraordinary affair, the clergyman kept saying for the rest of the day. But it was not as extraordinary as the behavior of Mrs. Hall's furniture a little later that morning. The landlord and his wife were up very early. Were surprised to see the scientist's door wide open. Usually it was shut and locked, and he was furious if anyone entered his room. The opportunity seemed too good to be missed. They peeped round the door, saw nobody, and decided to investigate. The bedclothes were cold, showing that the scientist must have been up for some time, and strangers' tea and clothes and bandages that were always were lying about the room. So something very mysterious happened next day. The landlord and the landlady woke up early in the morning. They wanted to investigate that what is happening, since this person Griffin does not want him to be disturbed by anybody. They saw that the door is open. They entered the room, and there they found that the room is empty. There is nobody inside it, and the bed, which is also cold. It seems that Griffin woke up woke up before, and the room is empty. Now they saw all these bandages and all these things were there. All of a sudden, Mrs. Hall heard a sniff close to her ear. A moment later, the hat on the bedpost leaped up and dashed itself into her face. Then the bedroom chair became alive. Springing into the air, it charged straight at her, legs foremost. As she and her husband turned away in terror, the extraordinary chair pushed them both out of the room and then appeared to slam and lock the door after them. Then something strange happened in that empty room. The chair started moving as if somebody is there. The hat that Griffin used to wear were thrown at Mrs. Hall's face. So strange things were happening. And after some time, they were thrown out of the room and the door was slammed and the door is locked. So Mrs. Hall almost fell down the stairs in hysterics. She was convinced that the room was haunted by spirits and that the stranger had somehow caused this to enter into her furniture. My poor mother used to sit in that chair, she moaned. To think it should rise up against me now. So Mrs. Hall is now worried that what is happening in this room? What is going on? Okay, the empty chair is moving and all. Now Mrs. Hall thinks that a spirit has overpowered the room and her furniture, and the chair which Mrs. Hall's mother used to sit is overpowered by a strange spirit. Now Mrs. Hall is very much worried that what is happening there in the room, and it must have been the scientist who has done something to bring all the spirits into her inn. Okay, so this is how the story is going on. So this person Griffin is taking advantage of being invisible. He is behaving in a strange manner, and he does not want to allow anybody to enter his room. And these people are frightened to see all these uncanny happenings that are happening around in his room and in the inn. So now they are sure must have been something mysterious is there which is happening in the inn. The feeling among the neighbors was that the trouble was caused by witchcraft, but witchcraft or not, when news of the burglary of the clergyman's home became known, the strange scientist was strongly suspected of having had a hand in it. Suspicion grew even stronger when he suddenly produced some ready cash, though he had admitted not long before that he had no money. So the neighbors were also suspicious that what is happening around. And finally, their suspicions were true when they heard of a burglary. And after the burglary, Griffin, the scientist, was ready to give cash to the inn. This was something that the landlord and the landlady, Mrs. Hall's suspicion rose high. So here I will end today, and in the next class, a little portion is left. I will just explain it to you and discuss the question and answers. Okay. So I hope students you are enjoying the story. This is a very funny sort of story. The happenings are funny, but the situation is very uncanny at the inn, where everybody is very much worried that what is happening all around. And the scientist who has used his skills for ill purpose, who malutilizes his power, is constantly committing one after another, constantly committing crimes one after another. Okay, so this class went a bit slow because I wanted to explain the full chapter to you instead of telling the stories to you. So this is where we are just ending this class. In the next class I will complete this. Okay, so bye for today, see you tomorrow.